Hi everybody, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel, Hallmark Plus More, where we watch and talk about shows, movies, mysteries, Hallmark ornaments, and anything else that floats our boat. So today we're going to be reviewing and discussing Elsbeth Season 2, Episode 4. It airs on CBS, starring Carrie Preston as Elsbeth. So this one was fun to watch, right? I hope you enjoyed watching it about a jewelry heist. So obviously there's a murder because it's a crime murder mystery, right? But it was definitely interesting to kind of see the jewelry heist. Now, obviously, it's about very rich women, and there's this special club at this jewelry store that you can only buy jewelry there if you're a member of the club, and you have to have proof of funds to show how much money you have. So that part of the show, obviously, I can totally not relate to at all. Rich people and their clubs and their expensive jewelry. So it's not that I'm laughing that I can relate to it. I'm laughing because I think a jewelry heist is something exciting that people like to watch. It's just one of those like old movies that people like to watch. You can even see with the detective, the woman detective, she's like, "Ooh, I'm in. I love an old jewelry heist. I've always wanted to bust a jewelry heist." So you can kind of even tell with the woman detective. So I thought this would be a fun episode to watch. And, you do see the kind of stuck up old white women who, have a lot of money and just want to be richer and stuck up. So, you kind of were expecting that. But I definitely think it was interesting as it kind of goes on how Elsbeth figures it out, right? The fact that they were bringing everybody in. When you saw Judith with, she was kind of the person in charge before they rebrand, right? So they bring in this young woman to rebrand, and obviously that means Judith, after 30 years, is out of a job. So I'm not surprised they kind of asked her to be a part of the heist. So with Rosalind and Celeste kind of spearheading the heist and then bringing people in for every step of the way, right? So I think you can kind of tell early on that she didn't like the way the new director or the new manager was treating Rosalind, because Judith had been there 30 years, been with Rosalind 25 years. I mean, she knew she was good for the money because she's bought a lot of things there. So I definitely feel like that was coming, that they were going to have an inside person, and that inside person was going to be Judith, because you could kind of tell she was a little upset about being put out because, and unfortunately, in this day and age, you're going to see that a lot, right? Kick out the old, bring in the young help, bring in the young talent, right? So I feel like Judith was a given to be a part of the heist. And then, of course, they want to bring in Claude because they want somebody in that security to check the jewels. So, and then, of course, Claude ends up being the person that dies, right? I thought they were going to come back, since she used the spoon. I thought they were going to come back and prove that she had bought in the silverware. So I thought that was interesting as the show went on, that they didn't really prove that she had a silverware set until at the very end you find out it was from her registry, her wedding registry. So definitely good thinking there, Elsbeth and Kayla, to think back through. And I mean, definitely thought it was interesting towards the end. There's always a twist at the end. You kind of figured they would catch them in the act. And even though they reeled Judith into it, I feel like and I know when Elsbeth showed up at Rosalind's house, it was unexpected, but the way they kind of just threw Judith here and threw the other guy in the bathroom, like, I know they had to hide him, but I don't know, I just felt like they were kind of stringing Judith along, like they look down on her, you know what I mean? And the way I see it is, if you're ever going to pull off a heist, everybody should feel like an equal member. It's kind of like a team at work. I mean, you want to feel like an equal part. So I was like, I know Judith is doing it because she feels like she's been mistreated, kind of being put out to pasture after all those years. And their new rebranding and regrouping with this jewelry company is different than how they ran it, right? So yeah, the twist at the end I loved. I would not have guessed that Judy would have stole the jewels. I mean, I see that she turned. We all know that she made a deal, so we knew that they were going to take down the jewelry heist because Judith signed a deal. She didn't say anything to Rosalind and Celeste because she was going to let them get caught in the act, and that might have been part of her deal that she with the DA, that she wasn't going to be charged. So, but in the end, where they find out when they shushed her, when Elsbeth came over to her house and she stole all the jewels from the safe and stole all her jewelry, so she signs a DA deal not to be prosecuted for the jewelry heist, and then she literally steals the real jewels from Rosalind's house, and then she's like in some foreign country at the end sipping an alcoholic drink, and she's wearing all the nice jewelry. And I was like, yes, Judith, you go, girl. That's all legal, right? I mean, she was thrown into a jewelry room. So yeah, technically she stole from Rosalind, and I'm not condoning anybody stealing from anybody else, but it's just kind of funny, right? So definitely interesting. And like I say, the end, I thought that was so funny. Judith gets off because she told him about the heist, and then she took all the jewelry, and now she's in some foreign country just living it up. And I love the little side story with Kayla and Elsbeth. I love Kayla's character. I think she's such a great actress. And I love, the sisterhood she has with Elsbeth. And I kind of understand where she's coming from. Like, yes, Elsbeth has more money. Yes, Elsbeth says you don't have to pay rent. But I feel like I need to, contribute. And when things go south, not that they're going to go south, but you want to have something in place, right? It's just... And Elsbeth being a lawyer, Kayla was like, look, you're a lawyer, it's not a bad thing to have a paper copy. It just protects both of us. So I like that Elsbeth wasn't offended, and at the end she added her froyo night. So I think it's great that they kind of got along, and Kayla kind of put it to Elsbeth in such a nice way. Like I say, I love Kayla's character. She just has this really soft side, and she just has a way to talk with people, and I think that's why her and Elsbeth work so well. And I like the way, she didn't come across as harsh. She just came across as very real. And Elsbeth saw that. And I'm glad that they're going to be living together because I just love them as a sisterhood. And of course, I tell you, I like Captain Wagner. I was a little sad that he had that whole lunch with Captain and then neither one of them stayed for it. Because he's trying, to be nice. He's trying to get more respect and let people see him as a fun guy. So I kind of feel bad because I think Captain Wagner is a great guy. And I love the actor that plays him, Wendell Pierce. He's amazing. You've probably seen him in other things. But I hope, he keeps it up and tries to do fun stuff in the precinct because I think people are going to come around that he's a really good guy. And the other woman detective, she's always kind of real harsh. And when she actually said, I've always wanted to bust a jewelry heist, I was like, yes, you don't see that fun side of her because she's always very by the book. So I thought that was really cool that she kind of let her guard down and was like, yes, I'm in. Because you get to see sides of the characters that you don't normally see. So this was definitely a fun episode. Like I said, I love how it ends with Judith. You never would have suspected that she stole Rosalind's jewels. But, and again, not that I'm condoning it, but I think it's kind of funny because they kind of screwed her over, right? I mean, she's being a part of it just for revenge, but she wasn't going to do anything with the jewels. I'm sure Rosalind and Celeste were going to cut her right out of the deal anyways, because they're so selfish. So she kind of has the last laugh because she got the jewels and then she turned and signed a deal and got them caught in the middle of the jewelry heist. So I definitely love how that ended. And then I'm always looking forward to the next episode because, like I said, I just love the way Elsbeth goes through everything. And I'm hoping on one of these episodes before the end of the season, they kind of go back to that side story about that public divorce. Because remember, there was a side story that Elsbeth was a lawyer in one of those other cases. So I always like to bring the backstory in because it's always nice as a side story for the main, the main murder that you're involved with. So, any side story is great. That's why I love Kayla living with Elsbeth. We can have some fun there. So I hope you enjoyed my review and discussing it with me. Again, thank you to everybody who watches my videos and subscribes. It means so much to me. So thank you so much. And until next time and next episode, I will see you then. Bye.